Hey, what's up, guys? So, today or in this video, I just kind of wanted to go over um, my shuffle builds that I'm running and just ability, or gosh, what am I even saying? Just the rotation of abilities and for Enhancement Shaman, and just kind of again, I'm like newer player, at least when it comes to really trying to win at things. I know that there is definitely like good builds that you can look at on like Wowhead or Icy Veins that have builds in a specific way. I've kind of tailored those more according to my needs, but the meta build still might be the best thing out there, and you just never know. So first build I'm going to go over is I use the Elementalist build, and this is my melee, as in versing melee build. So just a couple of points here is obviously you want your surging shield, so you get 100% chance of Maelstrom weapon when you're getting hit. And then I've come down here and I actually have started using Totemic Recall with Stone Skin Totem. And it's also just good to have Poison Cleansing in here too. For me, I like to have that. I like this better than Totemic Projection. I just don't really see that I'll ever be using that in an arena that much. I mean, there might be some clutch situations where somebody gets away and you have to remove a totem to where they're at or where you're at. I just don't use this ability that much, but I know it is part of that meta build that is on Wowhead. But I just have mine set up as I have the Poison Cleansing Totem in case I'm fighting any rogues, or it could be a survival hunter or anything like that. And then Stone Skin gives an additional 10% physical damage reduction, which is really nice versus warriors and other physical damage types. So yeah, that's kind of how I work with warrior. I don't really have Spirit Walk or anything like that, because again, with warriors, they do have slows, or not necessarily warriors, but with melee classes, they do have slows. Not a lot of them have roots or things that are going to keep you in necessarily dangerous areas. Survival hunters do, but in most situations you can get out with Thunderous Paws, and with other things that do trap you, generally you just have to be hit once to get out of it anyway, and then you just Thunderous Paws to get rid of that snare that's left over. With this, the Elementalist build, this is all just how the Elementalist build is on Wowhead or anything like that. So that's not any different. But again, this part here I have changed so that I'm using the Stone Skin and the Poison Cleansing more often. And with Totemic Recall, I've got Creation Core, so it affects 2 totems, and so when I am getting heavily focused, which Enhancement Shaman, if you've ever played Solo Shuffle, generally does get focused first, because they kind of know we're a squishy class. So especially in melee, this is really useful, having that Healing Stream totem and the Stone Skin totem. And after you place it and you are in that heavy burst, like you're getting focused down, they're both on you, you don't have an AC available or any way out of that, then you use that, and then you can have that Totemic Recall. So you just place down both totems, press Totemic Recall, and I've got them both good to go again. So I've got that 20% damage reduction, and I've got 2 Healing Stream totems going. With your Earth Shield up, you're getting a lot of healing done on yourself. So that's just why I like that. I mean, if you were wanting to swap stuff out, again, there's not too much value, I think, in other talents here. Again, with like Spirit Walk or Gust of Wind, there are roots that you can be trapped in, but again, when you're fighting melee, it's not that often. About Critical Strike is not something that we're really focusing on as a stat this season. So increasing the Critical Strike chance, if you get this twice by 4%, is really not going to be useful to you, because you're not going to be there after Critical Strike anyway, so your chances are always going to be there. So if you're really focused on this, talents. I do like to run Counter Strike when I'm fighting melee, just because I'm in the 1300s range. Hopefully working that up, but it generally, I've only ever seen it get stomped on like once or twice, and that's usually by people that you know have the add-on for it, so they just immediately focus that totem and kill it. Otherwise, it actually does pretty good in getting some extra damage done to those that are targeting you. This is something that you can also reset with Totemic Recall. So if you are doing some damage and you've got your ancestral guidance going, so you're not too worried about healing yourself. But let's say you have a healing stream totem down and your Counter Strike totem down. You can use that Totemic Recall again. You can get down another healing stream totem, so you're not too worried about that, and you can get another Counter Strike totem down. So you could potentially have two. It becomes a lot more annoying for them to stomp it out, because then they're just off of you for at least 2 cooldowns. If you've got it far enough away from each other where they can't AoE both at the same time. So again, it's just a good setup for getting some extra damage in when they're not expecting it, or at least aren't aware that it's happening. So yeah, that's kind of my melee build for versing ranged. The one thing that there's a couple things that change. You have some magic resistance here, and you don't need 2 shields really. You just need that earth shield, because if you're not fighting any melee class or something's not physically hitting you, then this has no help. So you don't really get those ones. The earth grab totem, very useful for grabbing those mages or people that are wanting to run away. It's not perfect, again, because it is just a root. A lot of people have anti-roots, so it's not perfect, but luckily you have Ice Strike and Frost Shock once you catch up to them to keep them snared. So this is just a good way of trapping them, or you can run Windrush Totem for your team if you've got 2 melee on your team and you're wanting to keep up with the ranged, and this is a good thing to put in there as well to help both of you keep up with those ranged players. But it does have a long cooldown, so usually in that case, Earth Grab's just going to be a better option to run. On the enhancement side, one thing that we do change is we do go to a Feral Lunge, because this is really helpful. For example, in the Mage's Ring of Frost, or whatever it's called, if you get trapped in there, it is really easy to just keep getting stuck. And if you're in the middle of it, like you're stuck in the middle and you've got this huge ring around you, you keep getting frozen in ice, Feral Lunge is a great way to get out of that ice without keeping to get stuck in it or anything like that. So other talents though do kind of remain the same. You've still got Spirit Walk, you've got Ancestral Guidance, and I've still got Totemic Recall. On this one, you do want to run Counter Strike Totem, because Counter Strike Totem is going to help you absorb those high impact spells. So if you're facing Warlocks or Mages, that's going to be really helpful for stopping things like Chaos Bolt, or just making them waste a global cooldown and not getting any damage done to you. Also, again, really useful to have Totemic Recall, because if your healer is hexed and they're pumping out damage on you and you can't get close enough to stop them, you can at least stop their attack by using Grounding Totem. Then Totemic Recall again, and having another Grounding Totem ready to go for when they launch that next one, if you're down an Interrupt or anything like that. So again, Totemic Recall, really useful in this situation, as Shamans are really squishy. We are generally the one that's going to be targeted in pretty much every matchup. I don't know if I've ever played a game where they didn't want to target me first. There's a few, if you've got a rogue teammate, sometimes they'll go for rogue. It just kind of depends on who you're playing with. But if you got anything like cloth classes, mage, warlock, they're generally not getting targeted first. It's usually you. And it is frustrating to be so squishy, but it's just kind of the way it is. So that's the range class. I do have a mixed build, and the reason I do have this mixed build, meaning that there's either it's a mixed team of melee and ranged, depending on who you want to go for. If I am fighting a ranged and a melee, or for example, if you're going against hunters, this is a really useful one to have because you still want some of that surging shields when you're getting attacked by pets. Multiple classes do have pets that'll attack you. Shamans have that, locks, and hunters, and well, Death Knight already goes in the melee, but yeah. So having those range classes that have pets, you still want surging shields because it's just a great way to build up Maelstrom weapon while they've got their pet on you. I've had a couple of turnarounds in games where I've been able to get away from a lock, but their pets were chasing me, and I was able to build up Maelstrom weapon just because, you know, the dog or whatever that is that's in the lock was attacking me, and so I built up enough Maelstrom weapon to kind of attack, come back, heal. So it's just a good thing to have there for when you can line of sight, but you still got pets on you. And yeah, so that's kind of my builds there. You could run Feral Lunge on this if you want. I do have more of the Spirit Walk going with Thunderous Paws just because we also have that Earth Grab Totem. Hopefully you're able to keep up that way. But if you're finding that you're struggling to keep up with hunters, just go ahead or anyone really in that mix one, go ahead and have Feral Lunge as one of your talent picks. I usually swap that out with Lashing Flames. Just, I don't know, because Lashing Flames to me I feel like doesn't do too much damage. Our damage dealing attacks this season, if you've ever kept up with it, so Elemental Blast is going to be your main one, then Lava Lash, and then actually Frost Shock is going to be your third highest damage dealer, just with the setup with having it be boosted by Maelstrom Weapon. You should be running the 10 stack Maelstrom Weapon talent, so that when you attack, it's boosted by 150%, and then when you have Ice Strike before, so again, don't use Frost Shock until you've been able to use Ice Strike as well, because that doubles the damage. So now you've got Frost Shock at 300%. Hopefully you've got your wolves up. If you've got a wolf that's the elementals for ice, then it'll boost it by another 20%. Not quite sure if that doubles with Ice Strike, so it could just be 320%, or it could be 340%, depending on how that works with the wolf out. So yeah, again, Flame Shock is a good dot, but it's not our main damage. It is helpful, but you'll want to, these other talents are what you're, or attacks are what you're going to want to hit them with anyway. So yeah, alright, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this is helpful to other enhancement shamans that are just looking to get into PvP. Again, I'm new. I am not anybody that I would say is professional. I just play when I have time, because I am married, I have kids, and little kids, and they like to go to sleep. Or, I mean, it's hard to get them to go to sleep and, you know, have time to play. So, if you're married, have little kids, kind of like I do, it is a difficult world to find time to play and be, you know, to be really good at the game. So this is just kind of, I'm hoping to help others who are in that same situation. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you in the next one.